Welcome back to the Go Deeper podcast. Today we are talking about taking risk, and I'm going to have Steven share a few stories. I feel like in your business, well, me too, but in your business, we were just talking about like moments that you have taken risk and really laid it all on the line in different seasons of life. I think the bigger you get, the more you grow, the risk can sometimes get bigger because you have more to lose.
Sure.
But I remember, I'll have you talk about your risk. Earlier on in our life together, I know you came from a background of like entrepreneurship. You felt led to do something more than just own a gym and have a nightclub at the time. And you took a big risk to really just go all out on your own eventually and start selling gym equipment. So let's talk about just like that season and what all comes along with taking risk. We're going to lean into that a little bit. Just, I think we all can have this stirring or a purpose laid on our heart, but to the outside world, they don't always understand it and they don't always see the vision and how you're going to do it. And it looks crazy. So we're going to talk about like what it looks to walk through seasons of that. So I want you first to talk about, I vividly remember having dinner at your parents' house one night and sitting out on their back patio. And you told your parents, like, I'm going to start selling gym equipment for a living. And they looked at you like you were crazy. And I also remember another time on our back patio where, at the house we then bought. But do you remember when this was 2012?
Yeah.
2012.
I think so.
We looked at them and said, we're going to buy this house. And we laid it all on the line then too. And they were like, you guys are crazy. How are you going to pay for this? But let's talk about like, what are the moments in time that stand out most to you of you laying it all on the line?
Well, I think when you're 20 some years old and you have nothing to lose, you are not as scared as your parents. Now that me and you were in our 40s, looking back, I do kind of see their concern because
you're young and naive still.
Right. And you're almost fearless in the sense, no kids, I could technically fail and I'll bounce back. Because if you're like now at our age, if you were, let's just say we're in our 40s and we got little kids, I see their concern because they're looking at it from their age group versus we're not seeing their vision. They're not seeing ours. So like, there's no right or wrong. I can definitely see where me and you, if Manny or Sophia came up to us and said some crazy shit when they're 23 and us being, let's just say 60s, we might think they're crazy too. But I'll never tell them don't do it because at the end of the day, I know I was not going to listen to anyone. But like, I mean, gosh.
But I think you're crazy enough you would tell Manny to do it.
I know.
Because you've seen, I think a lot of, we'll talk about our stories here in a second. I think whenever you go to take risk, when people think you're crazy, it's sometimes because they've never been exposed to that big of an idea coming to life. And it's their perception of their reality of what they've experienced in life so far. It's not necessarily reality. Right. It's their reality.
Right.
And when you go to take risk and make big moves, you have to be very careful who you let in, who you listen to, who you let influence you, because one person can completely derail you from maybe your dream coming to life. And me and you have said it many, many times, especially to young entrepreneurs or young people who are coming to us for inspiration. If you do what you love and you become wildly obsessed in doing it, and if you never, ever, ever give up, you will succeed.
100%.
And the thing is, you've always had these crazy ideas that you've laid it on the line, but you've also been willing to do the work and never, ever give up. So let's talk in detail getting into the gym equipment business.
Okay. I got so many stories.
I know you do.
Yeah. So it's hard for me on like a podcast to even know where to begin.
Your top three?
Top three, I would probably say taking the risk to open the gym. Would be originally.
Yeah.
Going in back then.
You were how old? Give people context.
The idea started at like 17, 18, 19, working at a gym. I was like, I'm going to own a gym. I used to tell my dad, I'm going to own a gym one day. Had no freaking clue how to do it. How to really, didn't know what equipment costed, started researching. I was already a nerd with equipment. I loved it. So that was like, the passion started with me just being a kid loving to work out and seeing the body transform and then wanting to be a pro bodybuilder. That was the ultimate end goal. And to be a pro bodybuilder and own a gym, that would have been like my Mount Rushmore. But then I realized, I'm like, okay, not that I was a bad bodybuilder, but my body is not the genetic freak that maybe I thought in my business sense wanted to go elsewhere. And I didn't want to do some of the things it took to bodybuild at 6'2".
And in all reality, you are working so much, knowing what these pro bodybuilders do now and how it is their life. You just weren't committing the time really necessary
Correct.
to do it
Yeah,
because you were building businesses.
Right. I was working so much, there was no way, I needed a sponsorship or something back then that I could really commit to working out more and doing the cardio and I think my body honestly was just too stressed back then to really, because I remember looking really good sometimes and being like, golly, what happened like overnight? But that's not part of this story. But I think opening the gym, buying the new warehouse during COVID, and then probably the third one would probably be making one of the biggest business moves that was very risky of a company shutting down and me buying the amount of inventory that I did post COVID, but not crazy far after COVID, not having the money. And I can talk about all three.
I think any business move during COVID was risky because we didn't know what the heck was going on.
Right.
There was a lack of stability.
Right.
So talk about just what did it look like? And this is part of taking risk, is we have an old identity we stay attached to because it's comfortable. Like your life was comfortable in the businesses we owned. The detachment, it's emotional of letting go of who you were to grow something else. So let's talk about the death of the old Steven to become this super fitness used gym equipment empire.
Well, I had to, really, there was a time where I had to detach from the bodybuilder Steven. And that was hard. Like, I don't even think I realized for years I was going through that. I didn't know which direction to go. You saw it. Like, part of me, even when we got married, I'm thinking I'm going to do one more show. And I never did. And now it's crazy because, like,
my prayers were answered.
Yeah, but people now is like, they see me and I try to be in decent shape.
You're in very good shape for 41 years old.
For all the haters online though, that talk pure shit.
But you are 20 some years of religious working out and diet.
30 years this coming September of working out. 12 years to 42. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Never
missed a workout. Never. Even if, we go anywhere, we work out.
So I'll say as a spouse, Steven comes to me on the regular of you're not going to believe this. Or he comes to me like, you're going to kill me, but I have a crazy idea. It's his personality.
I think you're numb.
I'm numb to it, but I also have seen you achieve greatness through taking big risks. And I also believe you're a person, you don't just take big risk for the high. You take big risks because you love something and you believe in it and you know what it takes and you're willing to do it. I don't know if you thought the gym equipment business was going to grow to this magnitude.
No.
By any form of the imagination. And I think some part of what holds people back is you only see, and maybe you don't even see this far ahead, you only see 1 to 2 years ahead. I think you would have went all in harder if you would have known you would have gotten to where you're at today.
Yeah, probably.
But there's a process of just biting off 1 year, biting off another year. Your business went from our garage to storage facilities to a 60,000 square foot warehouse to buying a nearly 180,000 square foot warehouse mid-COVID.
Yeah. Whew.
We were under contract on this building 2019. COVID hit. We were supposed to be closing in June of 2020. COVID hit in March.
They're not going to do, our old building falls through. New building, we're told there may not be able to finance, if you remember.
Yeah, the commercial lending during COVID became I mean, they were just holding all commercial loans because they didn't know what the heck was
Right.
going to happen.
It
But the
wasn't
one,
nothing we done wrong. It was just that's what
no,
was happening.
everything was high risk because
Right.
it was risky during COVID.
Right.
But luckily, Steven's gym equipment business was still soaring, and who we were doing our loan through was who we banked with, and they saw that your business was still
But
consistent.
tell them why that it was soaring. What did I do every night?
You grinded.
But I put a new ad up every single night.
You pivoted. You pivoted from selling directly to gym owners
Yeah.
to selling directly to homeowners. So you were willing to put an ad up every night. Facebook
I mean,
Marketplace.
it was a lot of work on me and a lot of stress, more than I even realized it was, because we had 2 little kids and I just had knee replacement.
Yeah. We had
And so
a 1-year-old
the
and
risk
a 6-month-old.
and what most people don't realize, I was overpaying at the time to get inventory because the market had skyrocketed and there was no deals. And so you have to make that choice sometimes. It's like, okay, it's supply and demand, point blank.
You have to have the knowledge, though.
Right.
And you had the knowledge. You saw the demand,
Mhm.
and you said, listen, I have people coming from all over the world.
Yep.
All I have to do is have it on hand.
Right. And the crazy part is, so like I remember selling plate for $3 a pound, which sounded ridiculous to me at the time. It was urethane plate, and that was all I could get. And I made $0. I was buying it for so much by the time I shipped it. My guys who worked for me thought I was crazy, but I was like, listen, if we don't have the plate and the barbells, nobody's going to buy the machines, the racks, the plate loaded equipment. They got to have plate. And I was like, if we get them in here, we don't want to charge this. We'll show them the freaking invoices. We will. And we kept selling out because we had to make that choice. But I was overpaying to get the inventory. But if you don't have the inventory, how can you sell it? You have to have the inventory. So it was one of them things where most people don't have the balls to put it on the line to, oh, that's too much money. What is too much money when you can't get it? If a cheeseburger in town, if every cheeseburger was $20, I guarantee there'd still be a lot of people pay $20 for a cheeseburger because they're craving a cheeseburger that bad. When supply and demand during the house crisis, there was no inventory for you guys to sell. I hate to say this, but people still need homes. So the market, you're getting offers. The first day you got four offers coming in, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over ask price, because those people are desperate for a home. And that's the problem. You have to pivot in business, and it's all comes with a risk, because we did not know if the plate was going to sell, and we're buying $100,000, let's say, worth of plate that I'm making $0 on. I'm just trying to have the money to be able to, or the inventory to sell other things. It was almost like a loss leader, which on paper looks like I'm stupid. You're selling something without money or without making money, but I'm doing it for the purpose of they're going to buy other things.
I think when you're starting out, it just gave me like a good perspective. When you're starting out in life, you take risk because you have nothing to lose, but you take big risk based upon something you love to do.
Right.
As you become a more seasoned business, the risk you start taking are way more calculated.
Right.
And the risk you've taken as you've grown, like buying plate, overpaying for it, knowing that that brings people through your door and it becomes a loss leader and they buy other things, is more of a calculated risk.
Absolutely.
Because you've been in the business, you know the market, you know what supply and demand looks like, and it's huge. I'm going to talk about the biggest risk I probably ever took was definitely when I moved here. Like,
We'll talk about it, and then I'll kind of go. I'll let you tell that, and then I'll talk about starting the gym, evolving into super fitness gym equipment, and then making that big purchase.
yeah. So in 2008, the market had crashed in Ohio by that time already. I'd gotten out of a bad relationship.
In real estate,
In real estate. I was 23, getting ready to turn 24 years old. And I just remember like one day in my bedroom, just sitting there, and it just like moved to North Carolina. And I listened to that, but life had not fully played itself out yet. And within like a month later, my dad, who had lived in Ohio his entire life, at the time, he was, let's see, probably my age now,
Yeah,
actually.
40s. Mhm.
Yeah,
He's
probably
40s.
more, 43, 44. He got offered a position here in North Carolina, and it just like God aligned it all. He moved here. I moved here a month after he moved here. I moved here. I'm like, I'm going to sell real estate here. Didn't know a single soul. And that's a big risk. You know, real estate is a business that you have to know people. You have to have a sphere of influence. Nowadays you have to have somewhat, back then like social media was just starting, but nowadays like your social media influence is huge. You have to have a network of people, and I didn't have any of that. I didn't know a single person. I started out working with a builder here, and then crazy me listens to you.
Well, the funny part about the story is she
We
moves
met each
right down
other.
the road
Yeah.
from me
Yeah.
in my same neighborhood.
Yeah, a
And so
month
that's-
after I moved here, I ran past Steven.
Yeah.
And that was a risk.
And that was
You were a risk. You were a big
But
risk.
we're not here to talk about that part
I know.
of it. When she met me, go ahead and tell them now.
Yeah, so when I met Steven, he was an entrepreneur. I had came from like corporate America background, mindset, family, corporate America. I was working with a builder here in North Carolina, and the market was slowing down here, and I was driving an hour to work. Gas was $4 a gallon. I would have like one person a week come into the model home.
She's selling nothing.
Nothing. I'm
Now
like,
explain to your pay. Your base pay?
you're really a draw, and then you're paid commission whenever you sell
But
something.
nothing's selling.
But nothing's selling, so they were having to pay us
So-
to be able to sit in the model.
So she's basically, her gas money's basically barely covering. She's actually losing money to go to work because fuel had skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So about maybe like 8 months in to me working there, you looked at me one day and said, "Listen, you realize you're making zero money. You need to quit your job and just come work for me and go into general brokerage and start your business here." And looking back, like, and we've talked about this, but if I was Sophia, I'm surprised my parents were not ready to kill me, but they didn't really say anything. They just, I was 24. I was a grown woman.
And they definitely could have said something about me
Oh,
at
they
the time.
definitely could have said so much about you at the time. But here I am, like, giving up my job that had benefits and
Best thing
guaranteed
you ever
pay to come work for this guy that I've known for 8 months and start my So I worked for him at the tanning salon. I started personal training people. And then it was a year before I sold a house. But a year after I got my license, I finally got myself together, build up a network, build up a sphere.
Hold on, what was you doing during
grinded.
that time, though?
I grinded every
but
day.
meeting
People. Yeah, I was meeting people every day in his business. And honestly, that was like a way for me to grow my sphere and to lead generate was through your businesses.
Some
and
of the
even
people
though,
you personal trained, you're still
yeah.
friends with to today.
And are some
You
of my best
sell them.
clients.
Right.
Yeah. So it's huge. But you have to be willing to do that. And there's many agents that come into the business now. And a lot of brokerages, I would say, don't love when an agent works another job. But like, I'm living proof you can grow a hell of a business working a side hustle job too, as long as you're intentional in the side hustle, as long as you're staying in front of people, as long as you're talking to people about real estate, meeting people, being intentional on adding those people that you meet at your other job into your database, letting them know you sell real estate too. Like, it will help you. I mean, there's been so many, even in your business, one hand feeds the other.
Absolutely.
The gyms that you sell gym equipment to also refer you business.
Absolutely.
You know, the more you network with yourself and you build your sphere of influence and you build your brand, working a second job, keeps you comfortable and confident enough to keep doing what you love to do that you know is going to take time to build it, but it funds your life.
Right.
And then it allows you to have the time and build the sphere of influence to grow your business. All right, tell your stories.
Are mine better than yours?
No.
I'm playing.
I just like to let you talk more.
Oh my gosh. So, like, Lord, I have so many stories, but so I'm going to open a gym and I'll
How
keep
old
that
were you?
part.
Tell people how old you were.
So, this is like 2005 into 2006 is when the tanning starts. So that's 2000. I'm 22. So 22 years old, no money. People think I got money, and I've got some credit cards, and I'm like, at the time, what people don't realize, they're giving out 0% credit cards, and you can apply for 7 of them and get 10 grand a piece. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I've got a little bit of money and I'm going to open a gym. I go $55,000 in credit card debt. And my very first transaction, what struck me, I bought 2 treadmills. And I don't know if I've told this story on podcast. I get a referral from a local guy at a gym, and I buy 2 treadmills, and he charges me $10,000, 5,000 a piece, and I want 2 Life Fitness. They were refurbished.
Which, think about relative to today's pricing.
That I know, and that's what people don't understand. My mess ups, my struggles is what led me to educate other people, because I got screwed several times. And so I'll never forget, he delivers me the treadmills, and I had 3 pieces of hammer strength that I acquired that I couldn't fit. And this guy I don't even know if he was a dealer of equipment at the time. I don't exactly know.
He hustled you.
Yeah.
What he was.
He says, hey man, I'll take these 3 back for you and sell them. And I had no room at the studio that I was in, my very first one. And so I let him take them back. And one of the treadmills had problems shortly after. He wouldn't answer the phone call, and he stole those pieces from me. I never got anything. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, I ended up learning how to fix a lot of the stuff, because we were kind of like learning how to engineer things. Because if you don't have the money to fix something, you learn how to fix it, or you call some friends in. Thank God my friends are like engineer minded to know how to fix some things. And I'm like, whoa, I'm never letting anybody sell my equipment again. I'll sell it myself. And I had already sold some ellipticals and stuff. It was a storage problem at that point. And so, and you know me, I like to change things. So I'm always wanting to update my gym. And so that's kind of how the gym equipment evolved. But when you're $55,000 in credit card debt and you're 22 years old, and interest rate probably on a couple of them cards was 19%. Some of them were 0. So I kept swapping money.
And the crazy thing is, like, looking back, the amount of income you were making versus the debt was...
Oh, God. You remember me just like paying minimums?
Yeah.
But yet everybody in town thinking I'm rolling the money. And the crazy part is...
It's honestly bigger risk back then than now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you were so close to 0. You were negative. You're so close to 0. You're really negative.
Yeah.
That... I mean, it makes me sick just for you to sit here and talk like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, the risks then are bigger than the risk now.
Your people will paint a picture of you like you're like so successful, but they're like, they have no idea the truth. And then also there's a lot of people plotting for your downfall, which is super sad, because everybody who I thought was going to support me back then, none of them came to my gym. They were still at all the other gyms, which is completely fine. Change is hard for people. And anybody who's watching this, I literally could care less if you've never came to my gym, because the simple fact, there's a butt for every seat. And I have learned to not ever rely off. I always tell people this in the hair business, like not you, but someone has been doing that person's hair since she was a little girl. Mm-hmm. Just because your cousin gets her license doesn't mean this person's going to switch to a new stylist. I've only had a handful of people ever touch my hair. And so, as well as I do, just because if my family member gets their hair thing, that doesn't mean I'm going to them. Not because I don't love them. So that's how I started learning to treat my own business. You have relationships at this other gym. Cool, stay there. It's totally fine. But so the gym was a hard one. That was the first biggest risk, but then that led me to the gym equipment. So we'll go to COVID. So I'd already purchased one big building, and that was literally like a miracle. And I've talked about that a little bit on here before.
That was an opportunity that we would not have seeked on our own.
No.
And I think sometimes when you have your head down grinding, especially when you're younger, you get people's attention. And I think you at that time just got the building owner's attention.
Right.
And you didn't even realize what you didn't know.
No.
You didn't realize you were paying enough in rent to really pay the mortgage.
Right.
At the time. And I thank him.
No, me too.
For bringing us that opportunity, because it really set us up for success in the long run.
Well,
I would encourage you, before we go into, if you're ever in business, real estate is honestly always a play you should be making regardless.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you may be operating a business, but if you can operate a business and have a real estate play, meaning buying the building, you should do it.
Do it. Right.
Because honestly, real estate, our businesses have done well, but real estate's been good to us.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on, is what you just said. Sometimes you don't know when you're in the grind how many people's watching you. And I'm this way now. I love to see the young hustler. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to support them. I'm willing to pay them a little more money than I could go to the cheapest guy, because I want to see them successful.
Yeah.
I love seeing the guy that was my previous self or the girl
Mm-hmm.
grinding, working 3, 4 jobs and like never asking for a favor and just making it happen. Because those are the people I know they're going to be a monster by the time they're 40, 50 years old. But it takes a lot of sacrifice. I always tell people there's no 40-hour work week when you're in the grind. There's no balance. Now, don't get me wrong. We've always tried to do our best, I think, to balance. But when you're in them 20s with no kids, grind it out while you can.
And I also think when you go to take a big risk, know that there is going to be a season of hard that sucks that you're going to
Oh,
have to sacrifice.
yeah.
And it's just part of it. And I think the older we've gotten, sometimes we're so head down grinding, we're missing risk we should be taking
Yeah.
because we're so head down grinding and maybe comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are risks we should take now.
Yeah. We get comfortable.
You get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're younger, you're just trying to make it.
I don't know.
And
I
you're
think I've
trying to
always
become
put us
more.
in a place of
You're
uncomfortable.
always, you
We're doing it.
long, you want to playing it all. I mean, you long for this. You're made for these moments. You need something that drives
So
you.
just to let everybody know in the middle of this podcast, while we're sitting right here, we're building a crazy new podcast studio that's going to be super sick, but it is a big risk. And sometimes I think to myself when I'm looking at it that I'm absolutely nuts.
I already know how he is. And we went and met with the designers, and there was option A, option B, option C. He's trying to buy himself his
Now, I wanted
mindset
option D.
yeah. And I looked at her and I said, just let him play it out. He's going to pick option A plus, but just let him think.
Yeah.
But that's your mindset.
Yeah, I want the best.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah,
though.
right. Yeah, I don't know how to.
You're 150%.
Yeah, I don't know how to cookie cutter. I want the best. I want the best. I want to have the best quality on this podcast. I want the best cameras. I want the best mics. I want to whatever we do.
You have a high standard
Right.
for life in all aspects.
Absolutely.
What's the one quote you always say?
Which one?
Oh, it just came through my mind and now I forgot it. Not go hard, go home. I'll think of it here in a minute.
Well, anyways, to go back to the story of
Bigger risk, bigger the risk.
yeah, big risk, big reward. I mean, that's one of them. But go back to the warehouse. So new warehouse guy approaches me at my gym. This is 2 years prior. Hey, Stephen, heard you're looking for some real estate. I said, yes, sir. And we'd kind of put some feelers out, but nothing had happened. And the building that I wanted.
We made an offer on a building or two.
Yeah, we had made offers that didn't go through.
Yeah, that didn't go through.
I'm saying, but
praise God. I mean, sometimes the risk you're ready to make, the opportunities are not the right ones.
Right.
And thank God
I think we lost out on 3 buildings.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he comes up to me and I said the building that I wanted to buy was already under contract. And so 2019, I shot a text message because I saw nothing happen in this building. And he instantly called me and said, yes, Stephen, that building fell apart. The deal, you were interested in it. He put me on a 3-way message with another guy. We're under contract for the building like a week later. So, oh my God, I'm so excited and I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm going and there's nothing cheap to do at a almost 200,000 square foot building. You can't paint it cheap. There's not a bill that you're going to
get. We were used to like $5,000 bills.
Yeah.
This is like 10 times that.
Yeah. Like you know, when you start seeing numbers of 6-figure to do stuff, and we knew it was going to cost a lot to fix it up. We just didn't know how much, and no one can really tell you how much. So I knew I was probably going to have to do things in phases. So what my game plan was to sell my current building, take the money that I had paid almost 9 years on, and just apply that to the down payment. Because what we had to do, we had to come out of pocket a hard deposit to
anytime you buy commercial, it's usually 20% down.
Right, 20 to 25%. So we had to come out of our pocket, hard deposit to make this deal happen and rent back till the landlord could close on the current building because he was getting stuff out, which I totally was cool with that. But I could start renovations on the new building. So we had spent about $700,000 of line of credit money, our money, some American Express money, all these things, and to find out COVID's happening. So we don't even own a building that we are deeply indebted to. And
that the bank will no longer finance.
That
because we're mid-COVID.
Right.
And during this time, the building owner calls us because he knows all this is going on.
And he's like ready to close early.
He's ready. He's like, I'm ready to close. Can we close in March?
Because he's probably worried. He's now probably worried about, is this deal going to happen or not?
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
So it was like March COVID. He called us and we were able to close. I think May.
I think June or July.
Okay.
Yeah, I think June or July. But
we weren't supposed to close.
But hang
October.
on. Tell everybody my other building fell through.
Yeah. So in the meantime, our down payment building
backfired.
Mm-hmm. So I looked at him and said, you better sell some gym equipment.
Yeah. So I remember doing a new ad every night at probably 9:30, 10 p.m., literally not going to bed till late, waking up first thing in the morning. She was there sometimes with me. How many people were coming to the warehouse?
A lot. We had 2 babies in a wagon selling gym equipment.
Every day. I have all hands on deck, and thank God the customers kept coming in. The crazy part is, I want everybody to listen to this. We were not making tons of profit, but we were turning money. We were doing volume. And sometimes you've got to make sure payroll's paid, your bills are paid, and thank God the bank saw this. And
you also have to be willing to pivot.
Right.
And get out of your old way of thinking sometimes and think bigger.
Right.
Because if you wouldn't have pivoted.
Oh, we might not have been in business.
Right. If you would have been so stuck in selling to gym owners, we would have went through a really, really hard season of struggle.
I couldn't agree
So you
more.
pivoted quick.
Pivoted
and that's
quick.
what it takes. When you take big risks, you have to pivot fast. You can't sit and be still and really let fear or the hard moments paralyze you, because that's when you will break.
Well, during that time, I look back, and as fearful I was at peace, because I knew.
Do you know why you were at peace? Because you were taking action every single day.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, even though they're in this fearful, hard moment, they let it paralyze them.
Right.
And action gets rid of the fear. You had peace because you were going to your warehouse every day, seeing a line down the road, and the money was coming in. But if you went through a week or 2 weeks of that didn't happen, you would not have had peace.
Well, I also think, I don't understand how people just go sit at home and, let's say they just sit at home and they sulk, or they're drinking beer,
fear
doing whatever.
paralyzes them. Yeah.
I had 2 little babies under 2 that were in the middle. I got a wife who real estate, we didn't know what was going to happen to at the time. This is right when COVID. So as a man, I had to take responsibility, and I would do it all over again, because at the end of the day, that is what the man is made to do.
We honestly thrive in moments like that, to be honest with you.
Right, but not most people don't.
No. But I think they're capable. They're just not willing.
Right.
And you have to be willing to go all in and go harder in those moments. One last question I'm going to ask you. What is it like having a spouse support your risk?
What's it like to have you support me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I could have it any other way if you didn't support me, because I support you too.
Yeah, you do. You are the one, I think big things, I don't say them out loud, because if I say them out loud to you, you want to make it become a reality, like where I sit and think and be more strategic about it. You say things out loud, and I'm just always the one that's like, okay, well, I'll do what it takes. I'll support you. I'll be willing to sacrifice. I'll make sure it comes to life, where I will be like, yeah, can I do this? I know I can do it. But it always makes me feel good to have you have my back.
Well, not make you, but I don't think you would be the Amber risk taker, such a big deal in real estate as you are now, if you didn't just have me being like, no, you are capable, you are good, you're just as good as any of them, you go do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes somebody just needs to hear that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of untapped talent out there.
Oh, 1,000%.
I mean,
if they just had the right person pouring into them or believing in them, they would come to life.
Well, so many people don't want to see other success. It could be your brother, your sister, your mama, your daddy, your grandma.
Yeah.
It could be the husband or the wife on either side, that most men, they want to be the bread bringer. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always going to be the bread bringer, but I've said it on here before. I could care less if Amber made more money. We're a powerhouse together. I don't tally things at all, nor do we ask each other for money. We do things together many times, and there's no tally being taken of who spent more money on each other. And I think that's where the divide comes a lot of times, is things like that. So to me, I can't imagine not having you to push me, or to give me that, like, no, Stephen, you go do this.
One other thing I want to point out is it's been easier for us to take big risk because we both support each other emotionally and physically, but financially it's easier for us to take risks because we don't have all of our eggs in one basket.
Right.
And I think the more you grow, there's a lesson. You've never had all of your eggs in one basket
Never.
since I've met
I've
you.
always worked several jobs.
And that's why it's been easier for you to take bigger risks because you had money coming over here that funded your life that allowed you to do bigger risk over here, and you were willing to do forth the effort.
Even when the gym started,
you've showed me.
Even when the gym started, you know this, I was doing nightclub bartending, security, all these things. So I had money coming in.
You had the tanning salon. Right. You had multiple streams.
I had money coming in that the gym didn't necessarily have to make a penny. And it didn't make a penny as far as profit.
For a long time.
But what I want to end this podcast with, Amber, is what we're going to talk about. And maybe you should talk about this. And I won't mention any manufacturer's name. But what I do think we should end with is we'll talk about it. I'll tell the story, but I want to know how you felt in the moment. When I come and I tell you, babe, I'm about to take and put it all on the line, probably the biggest risk at one time that I had took. And I want to know how you felt, because I don't even know if I've ever asked you.
To me, it wasn't, you've taken such crazy risk. That one does not hold that much weight for me.
Okay.
For whatever reason. And I think it's because I trusted you. You knew the demand for it.
But then it didn't sell at first.
It didn't sell at first, but you would wish you had a whole warehouse full of it now.
Yeah.
And that's where I have grown numb to your crazy risk.
Well, hang on before you finish.
So
to tell the quick story of this, I get some insight that there's basically a manufacturer basically merging, going out of business. I still don't know this true story. And I'm a huge fan of this company. And so I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way. And it started off, I was just going to order a little bit of it, and I was going to get some for our home gym. And the more I thought about it, I had this stirring in me. I'm like, man, I need to order a lot of this stuff. I truly feel like people around the world's going to want it, but big gamble, not sure, who knows, and wonder if they don't go out of business. What about if they still keep producing it? That's going to be a problem. Then my stuff's not sought after like I thought it was, and I might just be sitting on it. It's going to take 3, 4, 5 years to sell it. So anyways, I take this risk, 1.6 million, pretty much all at one shebang. And that was a big one for us. I'm used to doing big deals. That one all at once to shell out was a lot. And I didn't know. So I get everything. It took months to get, and there's no announcement or nothing like that. But finally, I can't get any more of it. So I know they're not producing. And the stuff's just sitting. Nobody's really inquiring. And I'm like, oh, shit.
In your business, you have to buy and sit on things sometimes.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'm used to that.
And honestly, sitting on it, the value goes up.
But you know as well as I do, some of your customers, if you had a house sitting on the market for 6 months, they start getting antsy and see question. Yeah. So about 6 months in, a few things are selling. And so I'm like, but I deep down, I knew, because I was so passionate about this company that
you knew before the rest of the world did.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, I did. So I had the inside information. So next thing I know, I start getting one phone call that led to the next phone call. And some big players in the gym world that own big gyms. And those are going to get the word of mouth out for you. It's like, oh man, I just got 6 of this from my guy, Steven, and he's getting low on equipment. That's when people find out, if you have 200 of something, not that big a deal if they're looking for one. If you sold 200 and you're down to your last 20,
yeah, demand
skyrockets. Yeah. Well, that's what happened with slow, and then little busy, and then all of a sudden everybody wants it, to the point where I had to limit what I was doing and who I was selling to, because I wanted this to go into the right hands, because I'm picky on that. And so during that time, I literally almost thought I was crazy, but I was putting a big risk on our family. But at the end of the day, I don't know how risky it was, because I deep down knew that it was going to sell. And I think you did too.
Yeah.
But how did you feel? Did you even care?
Well, I think I've got so used to you going doing crazy things. Like, to me, that wasn't heavy.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what I mean?
Well, Amber's used to like me going and buying equipment today and spending a lot of money, just not,
Yeah.
but it might be certain amount.
I mean, I am very much into his business. I am the one that like
Yeah.
sends all the bank wires. Like, I see all the things, but I also trust, know, and believe in you, and have seen you do this for 10 plus years now.
Right.
Knowing that it comes back.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm grateful. I understand.
You've really watched it we've been together almost 18 years.
Yeah.
Just at a bigger level.
A bigger scale.
Yeah.
You know, so I've gotten used to it, and I just think it's part of the business. Now, if we would have done that 15 years ago, I'd be like, what in the world?
I don't know if we could have floated it 15
No,
years
we
ago.
couldn't have. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I would have been like.
Even if they gave me the
we
money.
We weren't even capable.
I don't think we were capable.
No, we weren't capable.
And that's all learning.
It's part of growth.
That's part of growth.
It's part of growth. And that's why I say like risk seems so much bigger when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's calculated risk now. Therefore, I'm not as worried or scared about it.
That was definitely calculated.
Yeah, like I would do that every year. Like that's what I would be like
if I could
now.
get it.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
I wouldn't even think twice.
So to me, I just think I would love an opportunity. To me, that's not a risk; it's an opportunity.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
That's how a risk is we could lose it all.
Right.
That was an opportunity that set you up to scale your business to the next level.
I agree.
That was we're very blessed. So we're grateful.
Very blessed. Well, if you like this podcast, please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.